Hello guys, today we have a quite long video with a review of DRVETION electric bike. This particular bike was sent to me by the company for a honest review. So we have permission to take apart the motor, battery and controller to see all the components from inside and the construction side of the vehicle. At first glance, I noticed compared to other similar e-bikes that this one has many extras, such as the large front light, front and rear turning flashers, suspension on the saddle stem, and rough rear rack, which is very impressive and will be very convenient for delivery riders. This particular model CT20 comes with a geared hub motor at 750 watt rated and 1500 watt maximum output, with limited speed from the factory at 28 km EU standards and 45 km speed maximum output without limit. In case someone is wondering how to turn off the limitation, I will show it later in the video. The battery build of all company vehicles is from Samsung cells as the company claims. CT20 has 3 battery capacity options, 10 amp, 15 amp and 20 amp, which is the largest one, and is more intended for delivery riders with range from 60 to 90 kilometers. Now, let's start the assembly process to see how the vehicle looks fully assembled, and then we will disassemble the main parts one by one to see them from the inside. So sit back and enjoy the video. At this point, you can see step by step how to disable the speed limit. By pressing the up and down buttons on the screen for 2 seconds, we enter to P settings. Next, we press the up button until we reach P08, which is the speed limit settings. There, we must set the speed limit, which in this specific case is 48 to 50 kilometers. With the bike I received the smallest battery version, which is at 48 volts 10 amps, continuous output at 25 amps and total capacity 480 watts. It's time to open the battery to see the build quality from inside. Check the battery cells and make a diagnosis to see the real capacity and confirm the specifications that written on the label. A very important part of the diagnosis is to check the condition of the parallel cells, to confirm that they are all exactly at the same voltage level. As you can see, the batteries have Samsung markings 21705G with continuous current 10 amps per cell. But to be sure, we will perform discharge at high currents to see the real capacity. Normally, I don't approve at all build batteries without holders, like this particular one. But if we pay attention, they have an extra transparent insulation membrane plus the gasket paper on the head of the batteries, which give us a little extra protection between them. The charger that comes with the bike is at 54.6 volts at 2 amps output. Charging power at 110 watts with a 2.5mm plug. So, let's leave the battery on charge, and once it's finished, our diagnosis will begin. It's time to open the geared hub motor to see it from inside. Note that it is important to make sure that each screw has Loctite on it, so that they don't unscrew themselves. In front of us, we see the clutch system, planetary gears, and the 750 watt hub motor. The planetary gears and the metal gearing seems that they are lubricated normally. Here you can see the tiny magnet for measuring the speed of the wheel, measuring signal per revolution. It is also very annoying in case repair Hall sensor wiring. It stands quite a bit, so in case of repairing, try to have the wiring touch on the board tightly. The coils seems to have been hand wound, and important thing is that there is insulation material between the core and the coils. Overall, the build quality seems to be quite good. The controller works at 48 volts 25 amps maximum output, and it has waterproof julep plugs. One small thing I didn't like but is fixable is the cable that goes from the controller to the rear light. As you can see, it is quite stretched and is not tied to any part of the vehicle. From a construction point of view, in my personal opinion, the welds are above the decent level. You can see how thick the welds have been made on the aluminum frame joints, almost a work of art from a vehicle that came from China. The spokes of the front and rear rim are at 12G, 2.6mm, thick enough for a bicycle and very well stretched. Regarding the rear rack, it is one of the best I have seen so far on an electric bike of a similar type. Another point that I didn't really like is this small screw that holds the entire battery rack. It could be made more reliable, because the battery is the first thing that will be stolen from an electric bike. Our battery is charged at full and it's ready for a capacity diagnosis. On the power meter screen, we see the battery voltage under load, which is around 50 volts and 13 amps of consumption, which equals 650 watts continuous power. As you can see, from the 12 amp of capacity that I set on the capacity meter, 2.26 amps remained, 9.8 amps at 650 watt load. So we take out 470 watt of power capacity, which is almost 100% of the battery capacity. The last thing I always measure is the voltage levels of each battery when it is completely empty. There we can see the quality of our battery pack. As you can see, the voltages are exactly the same per two series cells, which is 3 volts.